And welcome back to Who Would Win. Today's Who Would Win comes to us from Lethal Injection 1997. That's a name. Who asked the question, who would win in a fight? The three Sannin from Naruto versus the MCU Avengers. So this is going to be dependent on what type of team you use for the Avengers, because the team even roster changes up in the comics all the time and changed up in the movies all the time. Or changed up in the movie several times. I mean, it changed up after Age of Ultron. It changed up again in Endgame. And after Endgame. So we'll look at the original lineup. Then we'll look at the post-original lineup, so the post-Ultron lineup. And then we'll pretty much look at Endgame. And by Endgame, I'm not saying everyone is shut up in the portal, but all your main characters who would be classified as Avengers. Like the Guardians of the Galaxy, for example, are not Avengers. Doctor Strange isn't an Avenger. He's not. There is no, he helped out the Avengers, and he even said we saved the universe together, but no, he's not an Avenger. So we'll look at those three. But let's look at the Sannin first real quick. Orochimaru, Tsunade, and Jiraiya were considered to be the three strongest ninja of their generation. Surviving in a fight against Hanzo the Salamander, he dubbed them the three Sannin, and that name stuck with them. All three of them are Kage level ninja, with one of them actually becoming the Hokage and Tsunade. They are all human, but well beyond human, as ninja tend to be kind of just superhuman in general. They all have their own specialties. In terms of speed, I don't believe any of them are truly light speeders. We have no feats. I don't think we have any real feats that indicate they are light speeders, but some breaking the sound barrier, like speed of sound individuals, that I think we have feats for in Naruto, especially with reaction speed. We know Naruto and Sasuke were light speeders in terms of their reaction speed, all that. But yeah, I don't think we have any clear-cut evidence to say that these guys were light speeders. But definitely move at the speed of sound, reaction speed. They're all trained ninja. They're all trained in weaponry, swords, tantos, kunai, you name it. They're trained in it. Let's just go from left to right. Orochimaru. Orochimaru is a Snake Sannin. He has snake-based jutsu, summoning jutsu, striking shadow snakes, summoning the giant massive amount of snakes. He can heal himself by basically spitting himself out of his body, shedding skin technique, I think it's called. I believe it said he does know all 5 nature chakras as well. He has knowledge of sealing jutsu. He has the curse mark, the triple Rashomon. He has the Yamata Orochi jutsu. He has the grass longsword. He is capable of possessing someone's body when he really needs to. I'm trying to remember everything else. He's in the hand. He has. They're all three of these individuals are highly skilled hand-to-hand combat. What were some of the other things that Orochimaru? He was a master scientist as well. He has the Edo Tensei. Orochimaru is a mean son of a bitch. Now you'll notice I'm not necessarily referring to them at this point in time. We're looking at them. We're looking at peak Sannin here, in terms of them at their strongest, which arguably would be when we see them in the Naruto series. Tsunade, the one who would become Hokage, is the medic of the group. She is considered to be the greatest medic in the ninja world with the healing palm technique. She's capable of honestly healing massive amount of trauma pretty quickly, and even capable of doing some of the most risky surgeries we've seen, like pulling bone out of Lee's spinal cord. She's also capable of the Genesis Rebirth technique, which basically gives her Wolverine capabilities at the expense of shortening her lifespan, which admittedly is still very long, being a Senju/Uzumaki. She has massive chakra reserves. She has a slug summoning contract, which allows her to summon Katsuyu, and probably any other slug, who can spit acid, divide, and heal in her own way as well. She is also, as we all know, a massive powerhouse in terms of her strength. By manipulating chakra throughout her body, she's capable of using humongous amounts of super strength. Capable of lifting giant objects to the point we don't actually know what the full limit of her strength capability was. We know she lifted Gambuta's sword without any real difficulty. I'm trying to remember Alfie. She could crater the ground with ease. I think she even cracked Susanoo's ribs at one point, if I'm not mistaken. So she's got a lot of enhanced physical strength behind her. And she can turn her chakra into electricity, which can basically rewrite your nerves and basically rewrite everything about your movements. If you try to move your arm, your ear's gonna wiggle a little bit. If you try to move a finger, your toe's gonna wiggle, like your toe or your kneecap will move. It's like Kabuto had to figure it out, like on the fly. So yeah, and then there's Jiraiya, who actually is, I believe, confirmed even by the creator to be the strongest of the three, despite Orochimaru being like, "Oh, Orochimaru is a seal Jiraiya is a seal master. Granted, seals are difficult to use within combat the way that you might use any other technique, but he's also got earth and fire style, and I think he has water. I know he's got earth and fire style for like either the dark swamp, fireball jutsu, spit out oil for toad flame bomb. He's got his Nido Jizo, which basically turns his his hair into, sharp needles. It can even manipulate his hair. He knows the Rasengan. He obviously has the Toad summoning contract as well, which allows him to summon any number of Toads, from Gamabunta, Gamakirin, Gamakaken. There's so many Toads who all actually have several abilities of their own. Gamabunta is a master swordsman and knows water style. You also have, I believe he's known as the Snake Killer. I believe, which one, that Kamihiro? The one with the two swords. Gamagaken is the one with the shield and the bident. I'm ungraceful. And obviously then he has Senjutsu, which allows him to go into Sage Mode with the help of Fukasu. Anyway, the two elder Toads. To which now allows him to use Sage Jutsu, including using it to surround him. So if he, fights someone, he can break a neck without even trying. He can use the Sage Art Great Ball Rasengan, which is huge. The Toad Oil Fire River, I can't remember what that one was called, and obviously the musical Genjutsu, which basically puts you to sleep, basically in like a cage, and then you just stab him. Jiraiya is considered to be one of the greatest ninja of his generation, to the point where he actually got cloned, spoilers, in Boruto. So, yeah. I don't think I really need to go much into the Avengers lineup when we talk about the original lineup. We have Hawkeye, Master Marksman with trick arrows. You have Captain America. He's a soldier at a time. You have Natasha Romanoff, Master Spy. You have Thor, Iron Man, and the Hulk. That's kind of all explained. Remember, we're going with the MCU versions of these characters, so they are so Hulk right now does not have the ability to clap an entire universe out of existence. So right out the gate, Natasha and Clint are basically going to be useless in this. I mean, they're not useless overall, like in their universe, amazingly, but in this fight, they're not going to be playing much of a distraction. Orochimaru, and don't forget, I should mention, Shadow Clones. All these guys got Shadow Clones and substitution jutsus. So, I mean, 3-on-6, you'd think that's in the Avengers' favor, but 3 of them are going to be at a pretty big disadvantage, because even Cap, being peak human, he can't take on all this. Honestly, the big problem is going to be for the Sannin. The big 3 problem makers for the Sannin are going to be Iron Man with his suit, but with some electricity. Though Thor's electricity didn't destroy it either. But with the right methodology, maybe using killing intent, they could take Tony down. Hulk and Thor, though, are both the beat sticks and extremely hard to put down. Because Thor's got Mjolnir, he's an Asgardian, Hulk is just the Hulk. So the question really becomes, is there anything the Sannin can really do to counteract anything that Hulk and Thor can throw at them? Well, Orochimaru, quite frankly, is going to be the most ruthless of the 3. And he's most likely going to have no problem cutting down Natasha or Clint with the Ras Longsword, no problem. So they're either going to be dead or incapacitated pretty quick, or he's just going to use some killing intent and probably scare the piss out of them, despite the fact that they're trained soldiers. Or trained assassins and spies. I think Orochimaru using his killing intent is going to be enough for them. But then Cap will come in, and Cap's shield being vibranium isn't going to be cut. It's like, oh, you'll be a bit more interesting to play with, just summoning snakes. And now, Cap's trying to fight these snakes. Now then, what should we? And then a Hulk just comes in and smacks him. But Tsunade grabs Hulk's fist after he comes in again, and they're kind of duking it out. Now the question is, have we seen Hulk do anything strength-wise that would put him well and truly above Tsunade. And I really have to think hard on that. Incredible Hulk, which is the same Hulk, just different design. He threw tanks around, sure, but we can easily say Tsunade can do that. Okay, and, all right, and Avengers. Well, okay. Do we think Tsunade could punch out the Leviathan whale dragons? Do we think she could do exactly what Hulk did to that thing? I'll be flat out honest. If she could do that to that whale, she wouldn't have needed the damn blade to put through Monda's mouth. She could have just cracked him and knocked him out cold or killed him. So that might be a limitation in Hulk's favor for Tsunade. Trying to think of anything in Age of Ultron that would imply that. Actually, there's really not much of strength feats for Hulk in Age of Ultron. He lifted Fenrir up in Thor Ragnarok, but that's really well within Tsunade's range. And that's really the last we see of Hulk. Because we see him a bit in Infinity War. He gets asked by Thanos. He shows up at Endgame, but it's Professor Hulk. So I'd say our only real feat, and that's really not Hulk at his strongest either. We know that. So Hulk probably still is probably stronger than Tsunade, but Tsunade has demonstrated enough strength to definitely keep up with Hulk, at least for a bit, and Thor as well. But that's where Jiraiya comes in. They summon the Toads. Hulk starts, tries to fight them and probably does start beating them up. Thor, tries throwing thunder and lightning. Orochimaru maybe blocks it with Rashomon. And basically, the real difference here is the fact that whereas the Avengers, within the context of their universe, worked together for a couple years, these guys worked together for at least a decade through war, day in, day out. So they know how to strategize off each other's strengths and weaknesses. Jiraiya would then they'd give Jiraiya time to go into Sage mode. Tsunade would probably crack either Thor. I'd say this, if Tsunade cracks Hulk with the lightning that scrambles your nerves, Hulk's going to be in trouble. But if she cracks Thor, I think that'd be funny where if she cracked Thor, it's like, I'm sorry, Big Buxton won, but that hurt. That's not the MCU Thor. It's like, nice try. And then he just cracks her. And honestly, Mjolnir could easily take down any one of them. But if she hits Hulk's kind of moving around. Iron Man's, again, the only other big problem, but I think Orochimaru would end up taking care of him in some way, shape, or form by summoning a snake to just kind of like consume him. He does the Jonah thing, gets out of the snake. But at that point, Jiraiya then comes in with a super Great Ball Rasengan and just kind of shaves into Iron Man. Now, that suit, what was that suit capable of surviving? That suit could take a lot. It could. But it also, it wasn't, I don't know if it would survive the Great Ball Rasengan, like that, not Great Ball Rasengan, Super Sage Art Rasengan. I don't know if the MCU version of Iron Man suit would survive that. At least the Battle of New York suit. It might survive it, but it might be severely injured. To which Jiraiya then does the flaming oil, and Thor and Hulk get out of there. To which he eventually does the Genjutsu and kind of puts them all under, and even Hulk goes to sleep. And he just pierces Thor, just like, oh! And then down, and Cap is like, I could do this all day, and then just gets knocked out. So I think the fact that they grew up in war, had been a team for so long together, and are as powerful as they are, really makes the MCU Avengers, really is what kind of hurts the MCU Avengers in the Avengers movie. If we look at Age of Ultron, where the new lineup was still Captain America in Black Widow. It was Rhodey, so you still technically have an Iron Man there, just with a Gatling gun. You have Falcon, who, he's not going to be mattering in this fight. And then you have Vision, and you have Scarlet Witch. The problem is speed-wise. Like I said, speed is a big thing because these guys can definitely move at faster than the eye can see speeds. If they could blitz Wanda before she really gets going, sure. The problem in this fight, though, is Vision. Being A, a machine, and B, having the Mind Stone, and C, being made of vibranium, and being able to change his density and fly and have super. I don't know if they have anything in their arsenal that could take the Vision down. I really don't. And that's assuming they don't take Wanda down at the same time, too. And then you got to factor in Rhodey just firing bullets at him. I mean, they'll probably be able to dodge bullets. They're almost certainly bullet timers. I would probably lean towards the Avengers Age of Ultron team, post Age of Ultron team. And then you have, because we don't know who the actual roster of the Avengers are post Endgame. But then you have Infinity War / Endgame. Remember, we have to first off figure out who is an Avenger at this point. So we have Dr. Hulk, or Professor Hulk. We have Thor, Fat Thor. We have Tony. We have Cap. Scarlet comes back. Scarlet Witch. Widow's gone. Falcon's around. Bucky. I don't think Bucky is considered an Avenger, so I can't say Bucky. And I don't know. I don't know if they include Carol in the Avengers. I will say Carol Danvers is probably a member of the Avengers. She's working with them in Endgame. Spoiler, she's in the mid-credit scene for Shang-Chi. It's been out now for months. So I know there was someone else I wanted to include in the Avengers. Who was it? Spider-Man. Spider-Man's a part of the Avengers, yes. So that is technically your lineup because Doctor Strange isn't an official member of the Avengers. T'Challa isn't. Bucky technically isn't. Because if that's the case, you're adding a sorcerer and all, then of course they're going to win. But does that change everything up enough that gives them the edge to win? Yeah, probably. Because your biggest problem in that scenario is going to be A, Scarlet Witch, and B, Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel. Iron Man's probably going to be your close third, and surprisingly, Thor's going to probably come in fourth because he was out of shape and not in full fighting form at that point. So, yeah, they're going to be your toughest ones. Cap just... The problem is most of these guys they're not peak physical human, but they're definitely like anime. They have the anime physique of a ninja, which means that Cap, it doesn't matter how peak he is or how good a fighter he is, they're going to beat him. Maybe 101 in a straight physical fight, he'd beat them, except for Tsunade. But, yeah, I think then you got to go with... Oh, and I think Ant-Man may have been included in the Avengers at that point, now that I think about it. So, yeah, I think at that point you got to go with the Avengers. So, for me, it's at the 2 out of 3 scenario, or 3 out of the 3 scenarios. The MCU Avengers do get 2 wins out of 3. But I do think like the initial New York Avengers would definitely be taken out by the Sannin, I think. Smaller numbers, first off. They have the least amount of difficult members to deal with, and they have something to actually deal with those members. Even if they don't kill Hulk, they can still put Hulk to sleep with a Genjutsu, courtesy of Jiraiya. So, yeah. Ultimately, my money is going to go on the Avengers, but that is just my opinion. Let me know in the comments below what you think. If you agree, let me know. If you don't, that's cool too. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. This is probably the last video I'm going to do tonight. I'm pre-recording this on Wednesday. My throat's starting to go a little bit. So I will do the other videos I'm going to do tomorrow or today. You know what I mean, damn it. Yeah, I still got Zanpakuto. I will be singing too. And I might do another Death Battle review, depending on my voice is feeling. Till then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And I'll see you folks later. Have a good one.